Kate sends a letter to the Irish Guards as the royal family gets ready for Trooping the Colour. And royal historian Gareth Russell breaks it all down.
We already know at this stage that the king had hoped to ride on horseback, as was tradition. But his doctors have been quite clear, giving his ongoing treatment for cancer, it'd be better if he was in a carriage.
Plus, Princess Diana's brother hires King Charles's divorce lawyer, while the Duchess of York weighs in on the Royal Lodge drama. And Prince Louis gives some advice to England's national football team. We got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hey everyone, and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina. That's Christine. And Christine, coming off a big weekend for you, big royal weekend for you.
Yes, I really enjoyed being in London for the Colonel's review of Trooping the Colour this past weekend, which was a very royal event. I got to get out my own fascinator, which was really exciting, and it got me really looking forward to the King's birthday parade, Trooping the Colour, this coming weekend.
You looked absolutely fantastic. Nailed the look. You definitely did, and I'm so excited to see you at Trooping. You're gonna have the best time. Busy, but best time.
I think seeing all these pictures of royals, you sort of learn the dress code. It was my moment to really embrace that.
Absolutely loved it. All right, well, let's get into our news of the week. And King Charles presented new colors to the military groups number 9 and number 12 companies at Windsor Castle on June 10th. The monarch was dressed in his black military garb as he saluted soldiers and greeted attendees. Charles serves as the colonel-in-chief of the 7 Guards regiments of the Household Division. Now, the presentation took place 5 days before this year's Trooping the Colour, which we just talked about. Of course, it's the annual celebration held in honor of the monarch's birthday. Now, unlike previous years, Charles will ride in a carriage with Queen Camilla during the June 15th military parade rather than ride on horseback due to his ongoing battle with cancer. But it seems like, I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more with Gareth about what it's going to look like, but it seems like that might be the only major change. And of course, the Princess of Wales not being on the balcony, which we don't have confirmation, but we can assume.
Yes, I think that Trooping the Colour is really the biggest event in the royal calendar every year. It is the official celebration of the monarch's birthday, but I think it's such a celebration of the monarchy in general and the monarchy's relationship with the people and with the military. So it's a huge event in the royal calendar. So I think they've really tried to keep this as close to normal as possible, to keep the pomp and ceremony, make sure it is just as important as in years past, despite everything that's going on within the family right now, which it's obviously hugely important to the king to be there. I mean, it's his birthday celebration. He has to show up in a sense. And they're definitely doing what they can to make the king comfortable and potentially, although obviously we don't have any confirmation, to make the Princess of Wales comfortable as to whether she will or won't attend.
Definitely. But she has been involved in some capacity because she did send her regards to the Irish Guards for her forthcoming absence at Trooping. She wrote in a personal letter, "I appreciate everyone trooping this year, has been practicing for months and dedicating many hours to ensuring their uniforms and drills are immaculate." She continued, "Being your colonel remains a great honor, and I'm very sorry that I'm unable to take the salute at this year's Colonel's Review. Please pass my apologies to the whole regiment. However, I do hope that I am able to present you all once again very soon." She is the honorary colonel of the Irish Guards, and she further sent her very best wishes and good luck to the soldiers participating in the upcoming festivities. So it was definitely nice for her to send her well wishes and just a gentle reminder that she's still with them.
Yeah, I think that this is, throughout the royal family, their relationship with the military and with the regiments that they represent, where they serve as colonel, it's so important to them to keep those ties strong and show how much they value those roles. So I think that this was an event that the Princess of Wales was probably really disappointed to miss. Yeah. If we remember, it was way back in February or March that it was announced that she was going to be taking the review during the Colonel's review of this event, and then the palace said, well, we'll see, we're not sure how she's feeling. And it was really only about a week or two ago that they confirmed that she wouldn't be undertaking this. So I think this was really something she probably really would have wanted to be there, but they had to weigh how she was feeling and what that would mean for her program going forward. so this letter really shows, I mean, you can see just by how much, how personal that letter feels, that she really wanted to be there, but ultimately it was the best decision for her to continue her recuperation.
Right. Yeah, like you said, she was kind of waiting maybe till like the last minute to see how she was feeling, but ultimately health comes first. Well, Prince William made a solo appearance at the Duke of Westminster's wedding on June 7th, attending without Princess Kate by his side. He served as an usher at the wedding between his friend Hugh Grosvenor and wife Olivia Henson. So moments after the newlywed couple said "I do," William was spotted outside England's Chester Cathedral, stepping into a waiting black car as onlookers cheered. When one of them shouted "Best wishes to Kate," William paused, giving a nod and a wave to the well-wisher. This is all per Hello magazine. So, he did step out. This was a big to-do because Harry wasn't there. He declined the invitation, probably to take away the spotlight, to make sure the spotlight remained on the couple on their wedding day. But yeah, definitely a big wedding.
This was huge. This was like the most royal-ish wedding we're going to get for a really long time. Hugh Grosvenor is godfather to, I think, Prince George, and Hugh Grosvenor's mother is godfather to Prince William, so they have really strong royal connections. They are quite good friends with Prince William and Prince Harry. And it was amazing to see. I mean, the streets were like lined with crowds of people cheering and, excited to see the bride and the groom, and the flowers, which were so overwhelming. So it was a very, very royal wedding, despite the fact that only the Prince of Wales attended. Right. I think there was, in a different year, under different circumstances, we probably would have seen more royal guests. We know Princess Eugenie was there. But this was sort of a bit... from a royal attendance perspective, it was a bit more low-key. But when you look at the pictures and the crowds and everything that was going on, it was not a low-key wedding.
No, definitely not a low-key event. Well, I guess when you're worth billions, exactly. You can afford it.
Yes, he is worth £10 billion and owns, I think, the largest estate collection, like the real estate collection in the UK. So they definitely did not skimp budget-wise. And... But it was such a beautiful wedding and sort of exciting to get that royal wedding feel again.
Yes, definitely, I'm sure. Best of the best. Well, Queen Camilla shared a brief update on how King Charles is carrying on amid his battle with cancer. While speaking with author Lee Child at the second annual Queen's Reading Room Festival at Hampton Court Palace over the weekend, she noted that the monarch is doing fine and has no interest in taking things easy. She said he won't slow down and won't do what he's told. In response, Child quipped that Charles sounds to me like a typical husband. Sounds about right. He doesn't want to slow down. Kind of doing not what he's told, but they have said, a lot of people have said in the past that he is a workaholic, so he's not going to slow down.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about it before. Those red boxes are still coming. He's known to work late into the night, first one up in the morning, and so it's unlikely that we would see him, on the sofa watching TV, binging some show. He's such a hard worker. But yeah, it's a very relatable sort of wife to husband thing. Like, he won't do as he's told. He's not slowing down. He's not following directions from the doctor. But hopefully King Charles is listening to his doctors and is recuperating. But I guess you probably can get some work done, in the royal slippers from his desk at home.
Very, very true. Well, he is gearing up for a big weekend, like we talked about. So let's break down the royal rules with trooping right around the corner and things obviously looking a little bit different this year. We wanted to get a preview of what to expect with royal historian Gareth Russell. Take a look. Obviously, the big event coming up is trooping. How is that going to look a bit different with the news going on? Will they kind of keep everything the same? Because that's months and months of planning. So is there anything that they are going to alter when it comes to that?
So with that, I think, again, there's no question of moving that, simply because that really has been a tradition since the time of George II in the early 18th century. So no, I don't think that there would be no question of getting rid of it, and certainly it's still going ahead according to the Ministry of Defence. However, it is a much more royally centered event compared to, say, a state visit, which is royal, political, and diplomatic. So I think that they will again perhaps scale back where the politicians are sitting, or even if they're invited. I mean, that hasn't, I don't think, been confirmed at the time of recording this interview. But I don't think we'll see any major changes to the trimming of the colour. We already know at this stage that the king had hoped to ride on horseback, as was tradition. But his doctors have been quite clear, giving his ongoing treatment for cancer, it'd be better if he was in a carriage.
You know, there have been some reports that Kate may make a surprise appearance at Trooping. She's not going to be at the rehearsal. How likely do you think that is, that we may see her on the balcony?
Yeah, they've been really clear about her not being at the rehearsal. I don't know. I mean, I think treatment for cancer in anyone is so nebulous in the sense that it's so personal, and it also is so reactive in the short term, and simply because you have a bad day does not mean the treatment's going badly.
Sure.
I think that's important to make clear. I don't know. I think the royal household have been very clear that they will keep that private until she is ready to do that herself, and I think that's probably the best way forward. I think maybe they're trying to draw a line that with this Princess of Wales, there will be less of a sense of public ownership of her in her private life. So I don't know.
Always love getting Gareth's perspective. All right, well, let's spill the royal tea. And Princess Diana's brother, Charles Spencer, reportedly hired the same divorce lawyer used by King Charles in the former couple's royal split back in 1996. The Times reported on June 9th that Spencer has recruited attorneys Fiona Shackleton's representation amid his divorce from his third wife, Karen Spencer. So the two were married for 13 years, and the Times reported that the news of their split was revealed in April to staff at the Spencers' estate. So this is all, relatively new information. So the pair married back in June of 2011 and shared daughter Charlotte Diana Spencer, who was born in July of 2012. But interesting that he hired King Charles's old divorce lawyer, reportedly.
I mean, awkwardness aside, he must be a very, very reputable attorney. Clearly has, represented some high-profile cases in the past, and obviously it's been decades since that divorce happened. It is an interesting choice. This is a very high-profile divorce. It's really sad for the family, and divorce is usually upsetting for both sides, and lots of things can be said, and so he probably does want a very strong legal presence that is familiar with these really high-profile cases. And I mean, who better to get a referral from than the king?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, again, must be the best divorced attorney money can buy. So I'm sure she'll do her job, but definitely awkward. Speaking of awkward, Sarah Ferguson isn't getting involved in the rumored drama between Prince Andrew and King Charles. So during an appearance on the UK's Good Morning Britain program on June 5th, the Duchess of York, who lives at Royal Lodge in Windsor with Andrew, was quizzed about a report that Charles wants his younger brother to leave the 30-room mansion. Well, she said, "I'm a guest for a start. I'm a very lucky guest and a very comfortable guest. I tend not to get involved in brothers' discussions, and I think that's the best, most safe place to be. Let the brothers discuss it between themselves." Now, according to the Times of London, there is tension between Charles and Andrew over the latter's refusal to give up the Royal Lodge. This is a story that's been going on for quite some time, but a very diplomatic answer.
I think, this is so diplomatic, and actually we've talked about Sarah Ferguson so much recently.
Yes.
And she does give very diplomatic answers, and she handles these questions really, really well. This does sort of confirm that it is the brothers arguing about this. Like, it does sort of confirm that there's those discussions going on between the king and Prince Andrew. But I have to say, all the stories that she's been a part of recently, the things that she's revealed, she's answered them so gracefully that I really have to appreciate that.
No, definitely.
And I think, I remember when we started talking about, because she started popping up in more stories, we were like, this was not on my bingo card. I did not anticipate her becoming such a figure in the royal news circuit, but every time she has an interview, we really enjoy what she has to say.
Really enjoy it, but like you said, she kind of says a lot but says nothing at all at the same time. So she knows exactly what she's doing, and we've talked about it time and time again, how wonderful it is that she's been so open about her cancer battle, and I'm sure it's helped a lot of people as well, keeping us up to date on the corgis. So I love to hear what she has to say, and she really has become such a public facing speaking member of the royal family. So I like you said, I enjoy always what the Duchess of York has to say, but do like the little drama. All right, well, let's wrap it up with our pint-sized palace. And Prince Louis has some advice for the England national football team before the 2024 European Football Championship. Prince William met up with the team at its training ground in St. George's Park on June 10th and spoke with manager Gareth Southgate. The Prince of Wales told a hilarious story about his youngest son, which included advice for the athletes. He said, "I was on the school run this morning with the children and I said, what shall I say to the England team today? The best bit of advice I got was to eat twice the amount you would normally eat, and I now have visions of all of you running around with massive tummies and getting stitches on the pitch." He continued, "I think take my youngest advice with a pinch of salt." The England team captain, Harry Kane, had a witty response to Prince Louis's words of wisdom. He says, "I don't think our nutritionists will be happy with that advice." But we always love these little nuggets of what these kids are really like, and I just love that so much.
I know, it's so great. You can just sort of see them either at the breakfast table or, William's driving them to school and they're all in the back seat and he's like, "What do you think I should say to them today?" It's such a normal conversation that, lots of parents have similar conversations with their children in the morning, just talking about the day. And it's nice to get those glimpses into sort of their very normal morning.
Definitely. It's normal, but so abnormal at the same time because we're not talking, right?
Normal, except for what he's actually going to do that day as Prince of Wales.
Right, totally. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Asked. Christine, have a great time at Troop in Color. I can't wait to see all of your posts on Instagram and hear all about it next week.
Thank you so much. So much to look forward to in the royal world the next couple of weeks. We've got some big royal events coming up.
Definitely. Some big events that we will be covering. So stay tuned with us. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you next week.